Okay, so let's just get rid of, is that thing on a layer? Of course not. Here, let's just get rid of this thing. Beep, beep. Come on, you bastard, go away. Oh, is it a freaking image plane? Okay, good. So, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start rigging this. I'm not totally ready to do this, but I've got to go forward and put a rig in this character. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into rigging, and I'm going to go into skeleton, create joints. When I'm in create joints, one thing I don't like the variable bone radius. Okay, just don't like it. It always changes the size of my bones. I like to do that manually. And let's go and do this panels, layouts, two panes side by side. And what else do I want to put on here? When I'm in the side view, I would like it. Actually, it's kind of strange that she turned red and she carried that from ZBrush. Okay, whatever. What I want to do is there's a little button right here. This is X-ray joints. I think I can find that over here too. Same thing. I like this better because that just, I don't know, for some reason I have a hard time picking this. They all kind of look the same. And I'm going to go in and what else do I want to do? Anything else? I think I should be fine. Maybe this secondary axis world orientation. Sometimes I will change that to -Z. Okay, that might come in handy later on. I don't think you're really going to notice much of a difference here with I'm going to be keeping this rig really simple. Okay, but here, let's go into wireframe anyway. Just to start this off, what I want to do is I want to kind of get myself a pelvis joint. And I can see right away my joint's kind of small, so I'm going to go to display, animation, joint size. Let's make this a bit bigger. Let's move this over so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, that should be good. And I can middle click, move it around after I've placed it. Okay, so this is going to be my hips. Actually, I should put that up a bit higher. It will, or actually I call it the pelvis, okay, because that's the center of the hips. And then I'm going to put in my hip, and I can see my crotch is right around here. Remember that your hip is above your crotch, and it actually is a little bit better if you go a little bit forward of center for that, just a little bit. Typically, I place my joints in the center. If you take a look at X-rays, you will find that they're typically in the center. That's where the pivot point is. Your ankle, I find when you get to your ankle, a little bit lower is a little bit more forgiving than too far up. It looks funny if it's too far up. I'm going to go for balls of the feet and 2. And then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, I'm just going to hit 5 right now. And now you can see through my geometry. And let's just turn off wireframe unshaded. Okay, next thing, let's go to the front view. Just gonna get rid of this. Okay, so I got the side view here, and I got the front view over here. And also, let's see, if I just go to shading, X-ray joints, boop, I can see them through the mesh. Okay, great. So I'm gonna leave that pelvis joint alone. I'm gonna put my hip joint over here to the side, and to line up my ankle, if I move these joints, I'm going to notice problems with my IK handle. Again, I'm trying to keep this really simple on you, right? So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to rotate my hip. Actually, I could even just go ahead and just grab this one axis. Rotate my hip so that my ankle lines up. And I might even suggest that you move your geometry to line this up. You're going to notice that your knee is going to behave funny if there isn't a straight line between your hip, knee, and ankle. There's ways to fix that, but without going complicated, right? This is easier, okay? This will make your life a lot easier. I hope people are paying attention. Rotate your hip to get your ankle in place. Don't use the move tool. So, let's just go in and do this quickly. We're just going to go and whip into Window, Hypergraph, and let's name these things. La la la. What's all this freaking crap I got in here? La la la. Okay, well, anyway, whatever. I'll figure it out soon. have to do a scene cleanup. So let's take this first one. I'm going to call this one pelvis. Okay. I'm going to call this one here hip. And I'm going to call it knee. And I can use I don't have to actually go on here and select these things. I can just use my arrow keys on my keyboard, and I can move around and get all these things. Ankle! And then I guess I hit a hotkey and I was smoking crack. Okay, good. Ankle. And I'll just use the arrow keys. Ankle, then there's ball of the foot. And then I've got toe. And the toe is an end joint, but whatever. So there, I've got all those things lined up. And then let's just grab the hip, and I'm going to go here to modify, and there's something called prefix hierarchy names, and I'm going to put in capital L underscore for the left side. It's the left side of the body, so I'm going to hit L underscore. So now I got L hip, L knee, L ankle, and a bunch of other Spanish villains. That joke never gets old. Never. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into skeleton, and there is something here called mirror joints. And mirror joints, typically mirror across, they really never label this correctly in my mind. This is the stupidest labeling. It should say XYZ, the axis I want to mirror across, but they don't. They make you have to guess. And so if I did XY, that would be the side, and that would be up. That's not right. This one here is Y, so that's up, and then the Z is the front. So that's the axis we're mirroring across, is the front and the side. So that's the correct one right there. It's the one without the axis in it. It should say, I want to mirror across the x-axis. That's what it should say, but I don't know why they don't fix this. It's always been like this. Search for capital L underscore and replace with capital R underscore. And now when I hit mirror, boop, I get it flipped across to the other side. All the axes are lined up, and all the names are changed appropriately. This makes my life easier. I like this. Okay, now onto the spine. I'm going to go into the spine, and we're going to get the joint tool again. 420 is coming up. Create your joints. If I go in here to right around here, this is going to be my root joint. Okay. I typically like to put them in the middle and favoring the back a little bit. Don't put them right along your back, because then you need to have corrective ones along your front or something like that, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. Okay, so favor the back side a little bit. This is your belly area right here. So this is my first back joint. Then we're getting into here, and there's kind of a... This is the base of your ribs, okay? And your ribs, not a lot moves in this area. You've got, I can't remember how many freaking spine bones you got along the back here, but it's a lot. So I'm trying to keep this simplified. This is really your bending one, maybe a little bit of this. I might put this up a little bit into the ribs area, okay? And then I'm going to get to the base of the neck, and I'm going to get into the middle of the neck. Again, I'm going to favor the middle more or less. Otherwise, you get this weird chicken neck thing if you actually lean your head back, if you put all your joints along the back here. Okay, and then head tip. And I'll just hit enter. Okay, and let's do a quick naming. What are we doing? We're at 9 minutes. Okay, I got to go a little bit faster so we can finish off the arm. Root! Okay, and then I get here, and these two joints here, I could go up to the top here, and this fits into my... Okay, great. And rename. And I'm going to use back. I'll give me back 1 and 2. And grab these 3, and I'll go and I'll call them neck. By the way, I didn't talk really about the placement of this final neck joint right here. I usually like to go just below the earlobe. I find that's a good spot for your head joint to be. That's really what that is. Neck 3 is really my head joint. And then I'm going to, this last one here, I'm going to call it head underscore end. Okay, so that's my end joint. Nothing really gets parented to that, so whatever. Okay, great. Now, let's zip back here, and we'll get into perspective. Actually, I'm going to go to the front view for a second. Next one is another one of my bone of contentions. When I'm using my Create Polygon tool, actually, I can get rid of this for now. I see the clavicles here, and there's kind of a breastbone, or not a breastbone, the the pectorals. The pectorals are across here. Okay, so breastbone, or like my clavicle and my pectorals. And if I put my joint right here, I've found really good results. Okay, and I usually have it a little bit forward of center. Okay, for reaching your character, it just deforms better. Then I'm going to go over here, and this is where your shoulder is. Okay, some people like to put this up really high. I really freaking hate that. I also really hate it when I see this joint up in the freaking trapezius. Okay, and then I get to about here, and okay, then we get into problems, right? Like, I have to move this and place it. Now I have to go to, say, the top view, and I have to kind of figure out where to place that. Oh, damn it, all the freaking hell, I did that. Okay, so that becomes a bit of a pain in the ass. So let's go back to the front view for a second. And also, too, I've got a slight freaking bend in my elbow. I was smoking a bit of crack at some point. Okay, so there's this thing here, snap to projected centers is on. And now if I go into this area again with snap to projected centers on, you'll see it moving around. And actually, I'm moving in the front view, and it's moving in the side view here. Okay, so that's showing me where basically the projected center is. Next thing I'm going to do, evil little trick, is I go right down here to the wrist, and the wrist is slightly inside of the hand, okay, and maybe we'll check that. I think I'm getting a projection here. If I go to the top view, it should be going straight in here. Yep, good. Okay, great. And then I'm going to go back here to the front view, and I'm going to put in a palm joint. This doesn't really exist. This is a cheater, that joint that I put in. Okay, I put this joint in so that I can grab cups and stuff like that a little bit better. Just, yeah, this is a Bob thing. It isn't necessarily a thing that other people do. And also, I kind of use it for rigging purposes. Then I'm going to put in my joint here. And also, too, I start noticing that display, animation, joint size. Okay, my joints are getting a little bit big, so I'm going to make them smaller now so I can kind of figure out what the hell is going on. Okay, and I look at my fingers, and I think my next one goes here. I'm looking for where it bends, and I'm pretty sure I have this lined up, something like that. Okay, great. And then I can hit the up arrow, 1, 2, 3. And there I go to the palm joint. I put one here in the index, and I'm pretty sure my joint's going to bend there, and of course, there. And I'll hit up, 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 up. And I'm going to go for the ring finger over here, and then I'm pretty sure that one's right around there. Up, 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 up. And, okay, up, 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 up. And now we're at the wrist. Remember that your thumb is actually, you see these fingers all kind of, I attach them to this here. There's actually some more bones that go in here, whatever. And your thumb also has kind of one that's in this area here. There's a pivot point. Okay, and then there's another pivot point in this area and this area. Just the same, exact same as your finger. I might have to twist these around to make them work out, line them up properly. But there's your arm. Oh, and crap, I didn't put in the elbow. Okay, so the elbow. Because this is just like the leg, I want to keep this straight. So my trick is here, if I go to the front view, if I go into skeleton, I go to the insert joints tool and click on the shoulder joint, and I drag down here to find my little elbow pit right in there. Okay, again, I might actually move the geometry in my arm up a little bit so it fits better. Let's go to the top view. I'm just going to grab my move tool. If I want to move this right now, you're going to see all the children move, right? But if you hold down D while you're moving, you can move this without moving the children. Leave the children alone. Don't touch my children. Okay, and then another thing I want to do, and what time are we at? Okay, good. I go in here and I go to skeleton and I go insert joints. Again, I can click on the elbow now, go down here, and I can create an ulna joint. Sometimes I find little feedback problems when I'm trying to line this up for the forearm. And if you have a character with a shirt on, you don't really have to worry, or long sleeve shirt, you don't have to worry about this as much. But here, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit P. So I selected the wrist, selected the elbow, I press P, and now this is independent, but it's actually lined up with, actually it isn't lined up, it's right in the middle though. Interesting. So it didn't actually line it up, so I have to actually go in here and grab this and go to skeleton, oriento joints. And if I go in here to orient joints and I change that and make sure that's negative, just like the other thing here, primary axis, X, Y, Z. Okay, great. Orient, then it's fixed. And then I can go in here and do this. If you do it in the opposite order, you'll find it doesn't orient. But now that's lined up directly in the middle. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to try to make this shorter, but whatever, it's taking a while. If I go in here to Window, Hypergraph, and here, let's go and name these things really quickly. So this first joint, this will be the clavicle. I'm not going to worry about zeroing out the rotations. You can't actually get rid of all the translations. Okay, you can get rid of a bit of them, but not all of them. So don't worry about that. I smell a skunk. The window's open, and I think somebody just bothered a skunk in the neighborhood. And here, I'm going to hit elbow. There we go. And wow, that's pretty strong. Then this is going to be, I like to call this the ulna. It's actually the radius that rotates, but the ulna just is more distinct, so I use that as a name. Okay, great. Wrist, and then we get to the palm joint. Wow. I think it might. I always find that skunks smell like coffee. Here, I'm going to grab all these joints here in the middle finger, and I'm just going to call this mid. Okay, and I'll grab these ones, and that's index. Index. Okay. The placement of these, the order is kind of weird, so if you hold down Control and you middle mouse click drag, you can pop that up and switch the order around while you're here in the hypergraph. And I'll grab these ones, and that's the ring. Okay, and this is the pinky. Pinky! Okay, and then what do we got down here? This is thumb. Thumb. Calls thumb one, who cares? There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. I might notice right away that I do have some... Actually, let's hit some orientation axes. Okay, that's actually okay. The thumb is going to bend in a slightly different direction, so I'm just going to quickly grab this and rotate it. Actually, just hold on a second. I haven't tried this. If I hold down D and I grab this little thing, is it going to let me actually do that? No way. Okay, so this is handy. There we go. And if I grab this one, it's just hard to grab in this axis here. I'm just changing it so that my primary rotation here of this axis will be on Y. So we do something like that, and there we go. Okay, that's not so bad. I do a lot of whining about this thing, and now it's not so bad. And I think I missed here. Okay, whatever, that looks okay. Great. And I've named everything. If I just go over here and I grab the clavicle, and then I go to modify prefix hierarchy names, and I use that capital L trick underscore. And then I'm just going to parent this thing in. I'm going to parent it to back number 2. I'm just going to hit P on the keyboard. Don't P on the keyboard. Hit the hotkey P. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here to skeleton. I'm going to hit mirror joints. Boop. There we go. And I'm going to take the pelvis and I'm going to parent it to the root. And there you have it. There's my skeleton. And what does it take me? 19 minutes? Talking my way through it. I'll stop here.